Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Queen Gaming. A 70 man on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Kingsguard, Leandros' Path. So yeah, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel and get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you are up. Let's go. Alright. Yeah, it was a dark time for those on the Red Sea. I'm just glad that chapter of my life is over with. What was that? I was just saying how it was good that your Navy showed up to take care of it. A lot of people were hurting because of them. Because of me. Jaws? Sorry, just thinking back on the past. Pay me no mind. There's something about the topic that bothered him, but you wagered that he would tell you when he was more comfortable. Anyways, the waters are safe now. Well, except for that damn snake out there. I was a bit young when it happened, so I don't recall much about it. My father was too busy to ever tell me anything, but Leandros was there. So, he shared his stories with me when he returned home. Leandros, huh? Despite how he fought you in the woods, he's an extremely skilled swordsman. I've never seen him lose a fight, and it's because of his skill and ties to my father that promoted him to captain of the guard as well as becoming my Kingsguard. During that time, he left to help cull the pirates. He must not have been much older than I was now. That young, huh? He's a bit more exceptional than most. He's also always tried to impress my father. He wouldn't happen to be related to the beastman here who led the assault on the pirates, would he? Funny you should ask. Yes, he's the one. Really now? Led 500 men and beastmen across 15 islands and chased out all the pirates. Must have sunk at least 3 dozen ships and defeated over 1,000 pirates. 1,000 pirates. I don't recall there ever being that many, to be honest. I'm just retelling the stories the sailors were chanting down at the docks. It was his bravery that helped push his promotion through into becoming captain of the guard. Not even those stuck-up nobles could say no to a war hero, even if he was a beastman. Heh, you seem to be very proud of him. Not every day you see a noble being so kind to their bodyguard. Leandros has watched over me from the moment I was born. To be honest, I couldn't imagine losing him. It would be like losing a family member. Just a family member. Huh? What do you mean by that? Well, you got a little glint in your eyes when you talk about him. I just figured there might have been something a little more going on. Yep. We've known each other for years. I couldn't bear to see him get hurt. But you know, there are times where I wish he would see me as something more than just his guardian. The guardee, maybe? Because you're not his guardian, Jake. More than just his brother. But I could never tell him. I could never tell him these feelings I have. Jaws leaned in a bit close with a hand on his chin. He was scouring your face for something, though you really weren't sure. There you go. Coffee time. What is it? Heh. Nothing. Huh? Jaws smiled once more, showing his pearly white dagger collection, and turned his back to the ocean. Hey, what was that about? Ha! It's nothing. Don't you worry about it. Now I'm going to worry even more. Jaws simply belted out a hearty laugh, leaving you even more confused. He spent a few more minutes searching along the coastline while Jaws checked the water. As the sun started to get low, Jaws left the ocean and met back with you on the beach. You started to shiver as you felt the afternoon breeze begin to creep in. So, shall we get going now? Getting a bit chilly out here. You can go on ahead. I think I'll keep... hair on my tongue. I think I'll keep watch for a bit longer. You tried to tough it out, but it was pretty clear that you were not dressed for the cold. It would be bad if you caught something. I'll be fine as long as I moved around a bit more. You really are a kind king, aren't you? Worried a bit more about others than yourself. It wasn't always this way. It's only recently that I've really started to think about others over my own needs and wants. But has everyone ever really changed that quickly? Maybe I'm just concerned more for myself. Well, from the way I look at it, I'd say otherwise. When you get back to the throne, I think you'll be doing this world a lot of good. In the meantime, it's not bad to think about yourself every once in a while, and I imagine they will be just as concerned about you, too. The last thing I think anyone would want for you is to pass out looking for them, especially Leandros. Imagine he's probably awake by now. Really? You think so? My heart pounded once more, and you felt the drive to run all the way back to the village. Won't know until we go, now will we? You nearly forgot all about your will to search for the others. Perhaps Jaws was right. Perhaps they really were safe. It did seem like you knew quite a lot about the Red Sea, more than you would ever learn about in books or during Corello's lessons. Right now, Leandros was here with you, and you had to be there for him. You couldn't lose sight of what was in front of you. It was a miracle already that you found him safe. The woman was already waiting outside Jaws' home, wringing out a cloth and draining water from a bucket. You moved past her and went inside while she stopped Jaws at the door. Hair in my eye. There we go. A thin veil of smoke drifted through the room, and the scent of akin to burning sage filled your nose. You peered around and found Leandros sitting upright. He was staring rather intently at the wall. Leandros slowly turned his head. He looked drowsy, but no longer had that blood-stained look in his eyes. Oh my. He blinked a few times, then rubbed his eyes. He looked like he was completely lost in a daze. He nearly had a heart attack that something was still wrong with him until he spoke. Jake. You couldn't help yourself, even if he might have been in pain. You feel your feet left the ground as you leapt onto him. Thankfully, he was aware enough to catch you. Oof! You might have pounced on him a bit too hard, though. Your face became buried in the fur between his chest. It was damp, likely from wet cloth used to keep his temperature down. He smelled of dirt and herbs and the familiar musk that came off of him after a long day training. It was both alluring and calming. You felt like a child again as he started to pat at your head. I really worried you. So sorry. The ground creaked as Jaws walked in, though the women who had stopped him at the door seemed to have vanished. I take it he must be feeling better, seeing that you two are getting along so well. Huh? Jaws was staring straight at you. Stuck straight to Leandros like you were conjoined twins. You quickly detached your face from his body and sat properly on the straw bed across from him. Anyone could have easily seen your embarrassment from a mile away. I'm just glad that he's okay. Jaws grinned once more. You are okay, aren't you? You seem a bit out of it. That might be the herbs. Bit of a soporific, so you'll feel like you've just woken up from 100 years' sleep. Leandros seemed to have a blank stare. Well, more so than he currently had. Like he was just trying to remember. Name's Jorgen, but you can call me Jaws. Not the most creative name, but it helps people remember me. Jaws, the captain? So you remember me then? You were the one I fought. Oh, you remember that as well? Only vaguely. I just remember this uncontrollable rage. My vision red and blurry. I thought I was in a dream, defending myself from some threat. I'm sorry, I attacked you both without reason. You weren't yourself, though I'm honestly surprised you remember. Jake, I didn't hurt you, did I? No, I'm okay. They did collapse on top of me. I still can't believe what I did. I tried to hurt you. I think the key word here is tried. You recognized me and stopped yourself. He's right. You weren't right in the mind. But I do have to say, the legends speak true. You're one tough man. Legends. Jake told me you were the hero of the Red Sea. The one who took down the pirates, right? Oh, that. I'm sorry, but you were mistaken. I'm not a hero. What do you mean? Most that I did was give a speech to rally those to rise up and defend their land. I can't exactly be called a hero for that. But you're the same man that talked about in the stories and songs, though, right? Sunk dozens of ships and defeated over 1,000 pirates. 1,000? I stayed in port for the most part. Couldn't stand being on a ship, and maybe fought a handful of pirates at the most, but never that many. I only sunk one ship, and that was just a dinghy that already had holes in it. Jaws turned to you. I thought you said he did all that. I'm just as surprised as you. Jake, I told you many times those stories were never about me. But you always blew my stories into wild proportions, ended up convincing yourself and got so excited it became near impossible to tell you the truth. So then, all that was a lie. Jaws looked visibly defeated. A strange sight for such a tough and burly-looking beast man. But again, you knew better to judge a book by its cover. You knew better than to judge a book by its cover. I apologize. When he was young, he had a very active imagination. Most of the legends about me were quite frankly fabricated, spurred from the lips of common folk who like to gossip. I tried to tell them to stop, but most people wouldn't listen, whether they just wanted to parade me around the islands and drink to my name like I was some kind of god. There are many people who fought just as hard, showing equal if not greater bravery and courage than I. Those are the people who should have received most of the praise. What? Well, if it wasn't for you, who knew what would have happened? Even if those were all just lies, you still played an important part in keeping the seas safe. I thank you for that. Still a hero in my eyes. He saved me on more than one occasion. He'll always be a hero to me as well. I really don't deserve any of this. Besides, I should be the one to thank you. That woman, she didn't say anything, but I take it that you were the one to carry me here. Even after I attacked you, you still helped me. Oh, goodness. Jeez. You can thank Jank here for that. He had a lot of faith in you, and I couldn't deny his request to save you. Besides, as I said before, don't imagine you were in control. Red Sea is a very serious sickness. So that's what I had. Pretty bad case of it, too. Wager you must have been carrying it for a while now. Probably back during the trip on the ship. Maybe we should have gotten the doctor that helped me to look at you. I didn't feel any worse off than I normally do when I'm aboard a ship. I tend to get seasick, surprisingly enough, for how often I've ridden out at sea. It might have been what masked it. Probably chalked that up to you being seasick. Was there anything you might have done to have contracted it? Not that I seem to recall. No, couldn't have been. How could they? Leandros? Leandros got out of bed and stood up. He stumbled around and you quickly ran over to support him. Leandros, are you alright? Jake, sorry. Easier there. You may feel better right now, but you still need to rest and gain your strength back. I can't stay here any longer. I have to get going. Why do you have to be in such a hurry? I have to get to Renero. Leandros, you need to stay here and rest. Jake, you know I can't do that. We have very little time. And how do you expect to get there exactly? We're on an island in the middle of the Red Sea. There won't be a boat here for who knows how long. Besides, in your condition, you'll probably end up fainting before you even get onto the boat. But... You lightly pushed Leandros and nearly lost his balance again. See? That was nothing. You merely took me by surprise. If a measly little push by me is enough to nearly knock you over, what do you think you can do against someone much stronger? You need to rest, and I'm not giving you any other say in the matter. You've taken care of me. Now it's my turn to take care of you. And if you think there's something wrong with that, then I'll have Jaws here tie you down. You will help me, won't you? Like, no. Coffee time. I suppose if the king says I must. This is... Alright, fine. You win. Glad to see you joining the side of reason. But before I rest, can I at least get washed? I don't exactly like that I've been laying here in my sweat. My mane is in knots. I must look like a mess. Not at all presentable. Leandros pulled a twig out of his hair with a grunt as a few pieces of his fur came out with it. I think the last thing you need to be concerned about is your looks. But you are a bit dirty from rolling around on the ground during your fight. To be honest, you could use a bit of a bath yourself. Leandros licked one of his fingers and leaned in to wipe a smudge from your face. Hey, I'm not a child, you know. He pushed away from Leandros before he had a chance to go again. You'll have to excuse me for that. I took him to get something to eat, and then we searched along the beach for survivors. A bath should have been a first priority. We have a watering hole that we use for bathing nearby. It warms up from the sun during the day, so it should hopefully still be warm now. And no one uses it during the night, so you should have it all to yourselves. I'll get the two of you some soap and other supplies from the villagers. Give me a moment. You seem to be an interesting individual. He found me on the beach just shortly after we met you. He looks scary, but he's much nicer than he looks. Is that so? I suppose I never really talked to him when we were aboard the ship. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Amr. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to our ultimate tier anyway. If y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to our Not Safe for Work content, it's only $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I shall see you on the next video. Bye-bye!